What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. So check this out, y'all. Some months ago, I made a video telling you guys your man Terrence Crawford need to start making some noise. And like I said, I don't mean acting like a fool in front of a camera, talking trash and just making a bunch of empty threats. I mean sending contracts out, making sure that they're trying to secure fights with top guys. Now everybody keeps saying Terrence Crawford can't fight a guy that don't want to fight him. Well, he can't seem to get a fight with nobody at 147. Now, here's the difference, okay? Terrence Crawford, as skilled as he is not a household name. Bob Arum, on several occasions, has spoken out and said Terrence Crawford couldn't sell a flyer, okay? He couldn't do anything. He can't sell nothing, right? He's losing money on Terrence Crawford, all this stuff. They had words back and forth with each other. And I said Terrence Crawford need to find a way to promote himself through his social medias. And he really need to start to like do things to get attention, man. Like to, you know, even through his social medias, not just even when he's doing training videos, anything. It's like, dude, it's something that people will start to pay attention to you, man. You know, he need to start doing things other than just sitting back. It's like he's satisfied being interviewed by people saying, man, these dudes don't want no smoke with you. Like, okay, see, you see it. So I'm satisfied because you know they're scared to fight me. That's not getting you to fight. Let's go back to all the way back to when him and Earl Spence, the red hoodie video, that's what I call it, right? When Spence had the red hoodie on saying, why not take the easy route and fight Sean Porter? You said go get a belt first. He got a belt. Then all of a sudden you made another excuse, Earl Spence, okay? Here's the crazy part. Remember when the name Manny Pacquiao came up against Terrence Crawford? They both everybody wanted to fight Manny Pacquiao, especially after he fought Keith Thurman. I want Manny Pacquiao. Keith Thurman was talking all that. Thurman got smoked out his boots. People thought Terrence Crawford was going to be next. The fight didn't happen. Manny Pacquiao said Errol Spence is too slow. So what are you saying, Manny Pacquiao? He's too slow, so you know you'll win that fight, so you don't want to fight him, so you're going to fight them, right? Remember, we heard that Terrence Crawford turned down the Pacquiao fight to fight Sean Porter. Now, here's what we don't know, and I will say this. Boxing channels, don't let them mislead you, because they will lie to you. They will make titles as clickbait just to get you to listen. And then the fighter never said these things. It's them saying what they think. But they'll say it as if they're quoting what the fighter said. Now, after all of that, we heard Errol Spence turn on and fight with Manny Pacquiao to fight Ugas for unification. Now, that sounds believable to a degree. Because for one, he's not going to make the same money fighting Ugas as he would against Pacquiao. But now, what are we hearing? Errol Spence versus Manny Pacquiao is on. So again, who's left sitting in the dark without a fight? Terrence Crawford. Keith Thurman is running his mouth right now, putting these videos out. Yeah, man, all the hate. I don't really care about it. I'm ready, man. I'm ready, man. And how Daddy Garcia and Spence fight didn't live up to the hype, and he did this and he. Okay, so you want to know what Terrence Crawford should be doing right now? Okay, I don't have a challenger, Big Mouth. You got all this mouth talking about you still the best welterweight in the world. You ready for that smoke? Me and you need to do this. Well, we all know Keith Thurman is not going to pull a Errol Spence and come back in there and jump right in the ring with the top guy. We know Keith Thurman is going to come back in there and fight a meatball because he's going to say, well, you know, because of the ring rush and yada, yada, you know. So this is why I say people need to just shut up and stop making these videos if they're not ready to fight. Okay? If you know that you're going to go out here and you only got enough money for McDonald's, stop sitting there promising people steak dinners. Stop sitting there, you know, oh, I'm going to get you seafood and lobster, steak and lobster. No, when you know that you only got McDonald's money, stop lying. Get everybody all worked up thinking they getting seafood and steak, and you gonna sit there knowing damn well you only got $8 in your pocket. Stop lying to people. All right, and this is where I'm saying again, Terrence Crawford has no counter, nothing to say to counter. Okay, you don't have a fight because that's what Keith Thurman said, right? He's just waiting. He's waiting for that smoke. Okay, you waiting for that smoke? Guess what? I'm here. Before, Keith Thurman months ago, Keith Thurman was talking this stuff about he wanted to fight Terrence Crawford. And remember, Terrence Crawford, he's telling Terrence Crawford, send the contract. Remember that? Send the contract. But it's like that same week or the following, I think it's the same week, then we hear videos about, or the following week, I think it was, talk about Terrence, Keith Thurman is depressed. He's like 190 pounds. If you're 190 pounds, you wasn't going to work off no 190 pounds. Go all the way down to 147 and be ready. So all of this talking. So again, where is Terrence Crawford in this picture? And see, here's the thing. I believe Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence beats Manny Pacquiao. Okay, I know a lot of people thinking they listen to Pacquiao talk and they think he can work magic, and I think Errol Spence is going to beat Pacquiao. Okay, and here's the thing. Okay, regardless, he beats Pacquiao. What does that do for and then say he fights Pacquiao, he beats Pacquiao, then Terrence Crawford ends up fighting some guy we don't even know. And then it's going to be, well, hey man, I'm trying to keep busy, I'm trying to keep active, I can't get the fights up. This is my whole thing. Remember how Sean Porter was talking all cocky a couple of months ago? Yo, the fight's on. I want that, yeah. And then we heard Sean Porter versus Terrence Crawford. Fight never materialized. Again, these guys are sitting back, letting precious time go by. They're not out here pursuing their dreams and their goals, man. They're not going out here going after these goals. They're sitting back here, like I said, letting people blow smoke up their ass about how everybody's scared of them, man. They don't want that smoke with you. You the truth. You know what I'm saying? They know what's real. Real ones know. That's not getting you the fights you want. That's not putting food on your table. That's not adding to your legacy. And you're sitting back here without a challenger. So again, while people are sitting here shitting on Errol Spence, here go Errol Spence in a position where he's fighting Manny Pacquiao. Now, unless this fight falls apart like fights have seemed to have been doing with very top guys, what happened with Ugas? So Terrence Crawford, you should be trying to secure a fight with Keith Thurman, with Ugas, or Sean Porter. And I'll be making this known. I would be going public with this stuff so people know the fights are not happening because these dudes are scared to fight me. We're putting the offers out there. I think honestly, as much as people may hate the PBC, I think Terrence Crawford need to go to the PBC. I'm being honest with you. Because I think he go to the PBC, then the fights are easier to make. I think he need to leave Bob Arum. He need to leave Bob Arum, man. He needs to go where he can get the fights to happen, and the money's going to be there. Because he's getting nowhere with Bob Arum. Nowhere. Terrence Crawford is already, 33, 34? So, and especially at these lighter weights, where speed is very, very vital, what's going to happen? What's going to happen when, like I said, Errol Spence goes out here, beat Manny Pacquiao, knock him out, finally get him out the way, because, Manny Pacquiao, if he gets destroyed, I believe that will be the reason Manny Pacquiao finally walks away. Other than just to the point where it's just obvious, like, okay, I'm in training and I'm just, it's time to just retire. I think somebody beat him up really bad and sent him out of here. I think Errol Spence would be the guy to do that. And honestly, even for people that think Terrence Crawford will beat Manny Pacquiao, the problem is he's not fighting Manny Pacquiao. See, this is what I'm talking about. And people seem to not understand this. They so busy getting their emotions talking about who could beat who. That's not what I'm concerned about. What I'm talking about is the fact that you're not getting your opportunity to fight the guys that you want to fight. And then when one person is not available, you sit back quietly and you don't say nothing, call out nobody. You don't send contracts out to nobody. You have a management team that don't care nothing about you. You're in a position right now. You got some decisions to make where you need to be. I honestly think he'd be better off going to the PBC. I really believe he would. And for these guys who are running around here fighting, getting the fights, because again, when you collecting belts, and then and the way I see it, Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford will be last, unless Spence Crawford fought somebody and lost, and then just say because I don't see. I mean, for who's out there, I think Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford are the two best welterweights out there, and unless Crawford just has a bad night, I don't see Keith Thurman beating him. I don't see Sean Porter beating him. I damn sure don't see Danny Garcia beating him. But unless something happened and it's an upset or something, or other than that, what Errol Spence is probably going to do, he beats Pacquiao, and let's just say, for example, for whatever reason, Terrence Crawford is not smart enough to go after Ugas. Even if you say forget Sean Porter, he's a credible name, but he doesn't hold a belt. Go after Ugas. Take Ugas' title. Because if not, you know what's going to end up happening? Just what I said. Somehow, Terrence Crawford is going to be in there against some Johnny come lately that nobody knows or cares about, or some guy that maybe had respect but ain't done nothing in a while, and then he's going to end up in that fight, another junk fight that means nothing really. Meanwhile, Errol Spence then beat, Pacquiao. Now he goes out there and take Ugas' title. Now the only person left for him, to be undisputed is Terrence Crawford. Then what happens to Terrence Crawford? Now, if Terrence Crawford beats Errol Spence, then, hey, that's a feather in his cap. But at the same time, he's not fighting anyone. And he's not getting in the ring with people that we really cared to see him fight. So even like Roy Jones, it's funny because I remember Roy Jones saying that, Errol Spence beating Mikey Garcia didn't really count because Mikey Garcia wasn't a natural welterweight. And then a couple of last month, he made a comment about you can't put Errol Spence in pound for pound because he ain't fighting nobody. But you have Terrence Crawford in your pound for pound. And who is he fighting? We're not talking about 140. 140 was a long time ago. We're talking right now. Well, who is he fighting, right? And this is not defending Terrence Crawford. Errol Spence. This is, look at the reality, okay? Who is he fighting at 147? That puts him in there. Now, you talking about skill level and all that. There's several fighters you can put in there that may not get the shine that they deserve. But if you're talking about who they're fighting, Spence just came back and beat Danny Garcia, somebody who you think very highly of, and then said if he beats him, then like when he beat Kell Brook, they talk about the surgery and okay, wait, Terrence Crawford fought him after Errol Spence, years after he was already damaged goods, okay, and Spence damaged the other side of his face. So why nobody threw this same shade at Terrence Crawford though? You see what I'm saying? Not that you need to throw shade at the fighters, but the fact that if you're going to throw shade at one, but then the fighter you sitting there throwing shade at, wait, Errol Spence is part of the reason his other side of his face is like it is. And he fought him afterwards. So you going to actually, and not only that, Roy Jones is trying to get his boy, Chris Eubanks, to fight Kell Brook. So how could Roy Jones say anything about Errol Spence, man? And yet you're sitting up here trying to get your guy in the ring with a guy who you know is damaged goods. And then when he beats Danny Garcia, like I said, while Errol Spence was out for that whole year, what was these other welterweights doing? So he beats Danny Garcia easily. It's just something personal with Roy and Errol now, man. It's one of these things where, I don't know, Roy said something, Errol didn't like it, he responded in a certain way, and it's just a thing now where anytime somebody mentions something about Roy Jones, about Errol Spence to Roy Jones never has anything positive to say about Errol Spence. And the reality is, if I see a fighter doing something and I know that it looks suspect, something I know is shady, I'm not going to sit there because I don't care if it's Errol Spence, if it's Roy Jones, or whoever it is. I'm going to say what I feel I want to say. But at the end of the day, it's just one of these things, man, where like you listen to people talk, and then because someone has legendary status in the game, we don't question what they're saying, right? If we like that person. No. Roy Jones can't sit here and say Kell Brook is a real, welterweight. So for Terrence Crawford to beat that guy, he shows, Terrence Crawford came up from 140. Oh, so that's the difference? Because Spence came in at 147 and Crawford came up. Okay, well, if that's the case, then Sugar Leonard beating Roberto Duran doesn't mean anything. Marvin Hagler beating Roberto Duran doesn't mean anything. Marvin Hagler beating Roberto Duran doesn't mean anything. Why? Because all of them made their pro debuts at 147 pounds when Roberto Duran started out as a lightweight. So then none of their victories mean anything then. So, I mean, all this nonsense, and then not only that, he took credit from Errol Spence saying he was already damaged from the Golovkin fight. But now you're trying to take this damaged fighter and put him in there against Chris Eubanks, a guy who's a welterweight. A welterweight who fought one time at 160 just to fight Golovkin. Just like Roy Jones only fought heavyweight one time. So that's like, imagine somebody saying, well, Roy Jones, you won the title. And he said the only person he wanted to fight at heavyweight was Mike Tyson, right? So imagine everybody calling you a bitch or a punk because you didn't fight Lewis or you didn't fight Bo. Okay, these guys who 60 to 70 pounds heavier than you are. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, if Errol Spence, how is Errol, listen to my point, y'all. How is Errol Spence not going to get full credit for beating Kell Brook, who was already damaged by Golovkin? So he don't get credit for that because he was already damaged. But yet, you think this would be a great fight for the UK fans and for Chris Eubanks, because Kell Brook is a respected fighter. He's a very skillful. So how all of a sudden, as he is such a skillful, great fighter, now that you want him to fight your boy Chris Eubanks Jr.? But when Errol Spence beat him, he was years younger than what he is now. He was still good. Only thing was he got damaged by Golovkin. He got hurt in war. And then Spence damaged the other side of his face. So now all of a sudden, years later, and after what we just seen him go through with Terrence Crawford, you think that this is a good idea. You want to see your fighter fight nothing but the best fighters. You stayed right there when he said he wanted to fight nothing but the best fighters. You nodded your head, but you thought this would be a great fight. Kell Brook is a respected champion. So how all of a sudden does Errol Spence, who fights at 147, okay, not get credit for fighting a 147-pounder because he was damaged? But here's your guy fighting at 160. But because you say this is a good fight, we're supposed to go, yeah, that's a good fight, Roy. You understand what I'm saying? And this guy is going to come from a 147-pound fighter to 160 to fight a guy much bigger and stronger than him, and he's already damaged goods. So, yeah, it's definitely something inside of Roy he got against Errol Spence. He say he don't, but for you to turn around and then say, you can't talk about pound for pound because he ain't fighting nobody. Who else at welterweight is? Who else at welterweight is? So, at the end of the day, man, I mean, even Sean Porter made a comment about Errol Spence. I forgot the guy name. Was it Lara? I think it was Lara. And I'm saying they think Lara would beat Errol Spence, but yet they're saying Lara's not in his prime anymore. So it's like, as a competitor, instead of the camaraderie being there where, hey, man, this is a potential opponent of mine. This is a guy I fought. I want to see all of us do good. You know what I'm saying? Because we gonna rumble. We might even do it 2 times, right? But at the end of the day, it's like, shoot this guy down, shoot this guy down, shoot this guy down. And then after, if I beat him, then when somebody say, who have I beat? Oh, I beat this guy. Right. All the guys that you said was trash, you beat. Now you bring them up. Now all of a sudden they were good, but they was trash when you beat them. So, yeah, it's one of these things, man. And I don't get it. I don't care to even dig into the soap opera side of things. You already know how I feel about that kind of stuff. But most definitely, Terrence Crawford is in a position right now where, listen, man, anytime a fight don't fall through, somebody's available. Who's the next best opponent that you can fight that will get you the recognition that you need? You're only getting older, brother. And at the end of the day, it's going to be a time where, guess what? Father Time going to kick you up your ass and you're going to be sitting there going, damn, I should have did this, this, and this. And I think the biggest problem with Terrence Crawford right now, like I said, is his management team and who's his promotion, who he's promoted by. And again, I think he's suit better to go and be part of the PBC. I don't care about those three letters. The fighters. I watch boxing. I don't care what your promotional brand is. It's what you bring to the table as a fighter, and those fights will be easier made if you're part of that stable. Because if you win, they still win because they're your promoters. That's your brand. You understand what I'm saying? I don't think that Terrence Crawford is going to get what he needs, staying where he is. You with a promoter that insults you and say that you can't sell a fucking turkey dinner, you know. You can't. I mean, hey, you can't sell a lottery ticket. The guy sits here and insults you. So like, where are you going to go with a promoter like that? And in all honesty, it's only hurting his career. So for the fans that's sitting up here saying he's better than Earl Spence, he's better than all these other welterweights, he's better. Okay, well, why is he not getting these fights? So how is your opinion helping his career or his legacy or his bank account? So anyway, never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.